We're live now? Like as I'm drinking water, we're live?
We're live.
Okay. That's fine. God is my friend. Wow, Goju Nation, we are season
It should
3,
take a second.
episode 5 of industry rule number 4080. You gotta let me know how I'm doing with these clothes changes up, because I'm wearing different things different times. Y'all gotta kind of let me know if I'm all over the place or if this makes sense. So we're good. Oh, shit. Okay, we're good here. Let's do that. And then we're good.
I see the live. Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, but has no fucks. No fucks.
Oh, I think that was the title from his end.
Titles, we're good.
Okay.
We're good. Because like I said, what happens is that after we finish live, I go back and I do post editing on the live stream. So that way, because like I said, right now there's no hashtags, there's nothing in there, right? But then again, I go back to kind of put them in based on what I speak about. So I do post production on my side as well, Luigi. Okay, see what I'm saying? I do post marketing. How about that?
It's good skills.
That's probably the better way to say it. All right. Okay, so here we go. Goju Nation. Don't go and talk about my father. One of the top, I think Rolling Stone named this one of the top 10 albums of all time. The What's Going On album by Marvin Gaye. I was listening to that on the way in, so that's what's in my head today. There is a song. I'm gonna go here first. I'm gonna jump around before we intro the show. We are probably, Goju Nation, and we're starting to set it up, okay? Yuri doesn't know this yet, but we're going to start setting up having a live in studio podcast. That was supposed to happen back in September, but did not. But we're going to try to make that happen for the spring. More details to come. We'll see how that plays out. I'm still trying to figure out like the best location, the central area where that makes the most sense, because I want as many of you to be able to come as possible. Excuse me, I gotta talk to Luigi because it might be remote, so that turns into something completely different there as well. So we're trying to figure it out, but there will be a live podcast, a live in studio podcast this spring. I'm saying it now so y'all can start wrapping your brains around it. And as we keep doing the podcast, I'll bring more information to the forefront for that. All right, Goju Nation. I'm happy to have you back with us. My name is Tally. This is industry rule number 4080, season 3, episode 5. Luigi, let's go.
Industry rule number 4080. Industry rule number 4080. Record company people are shady.
God is my friend. God is my friend. Goju Nation, you guys are respected. You appreciate it. You're sticking with me. The numbers are climbing. Since we've been here in this new location, Luigi doesn't know this, subscribers have more than doubled. And our first live stream, Luigi, ready for this? Over 3,000 views. And climbing. So live might be a better way to go in the scheme of things, but you know how we work it out. We'll figure it out. during the course of the day. But yeah, how you doing, Goju Nation? Welcome back. As always, you are appreciated and respected. Don't forget to catch the socials, Threads, Facebook, IG, and of course, here at YouTube at Gotham Jungle, one word, Gotham Jungle, one word, on all platforms. Okay? Like, follow, share, subscribe, and comment to put yourself in position to be an official member of Goju Nation. And also, which is very important, especially on the socials, hit me up on the comments and DM me. I'm really DM accessible on IG. I'm there. Probably I get hit there more than anywhere else. And let us know how you feel about these episodes. Was good? Was bad? Am I talking too fast? Talk about the wardrobe. Talk about the scenery. Let's just get better, okay? Because I need that content. I need that respectful response so we can get better. I can't get better if I don't know what you believe we should be doing better, all right? Now, here at Industry Rule number 4080, we look into all industries and the ones that shape our lives, and then, we talk about things that they could be doing better. We talk about their potential accountability or lack thereof, okay? And what's going on behind the scenes. And as your host, it is my charge to bring you a deep dive into the stories that matter the most, okay? So here we go with the qualified, verified, and certified. Today it speaks about accountability. And we're taking a close look at the Fox Corporation. Y'all are all aware, because social media can't keep themselves calm enough, about the pending allegations that are happening at FS1 with the hairstylists against one of the executives, Skip Bayless, and I believe Joy Taylor's involved in this somehow, as far as on the periphery of either being a part of it or not being a part of it. But we're trying to figure out what's going on there. We're going to speak to the fact, and this is where Industry Rule number 4080 kind of puts itself in a little bit of a different position here. I'm not here to talk about what happened. I'm not here to talk about what didn't happen. I'm not necessarily here to speak about the depth of the allegations, who's lying, who's telling the truth, et cetera, et cetera. I'm here to speak more about the cultural environment of Fox. And you notice I'm not saying FS1, I'm saying Fox, because there's another piece to this. And for all you that remember, Fox News had their own pariah piece of content and information as well that was not being dealt with and handled properly. So that is why high-profile television networks like Fox News and Fox Sports, the company's been riddled with allegations over the years, allegations of sexual harassment, workplace misconduct, lawsuits to the point where systematically it speaks to the failure in leadership. So we'll get into the QVC of it, the qualified, verified, certified, okay? And at the end, we'll confront critical questions and ask the ultimate question: what environment is Rupert Murdoch allowing to exist? As the man at the helm, does he truly need to be held accountable for these repeated failures? All right, Goju Nation, let's delve into it, all right? So here's the qualified, okay? You know what that is, the Q, the Q, the Q, the Q. And the qualified question is, what makes a workplace qualified to protect its employees? It should be about fostering an environment where misconduct isn't tolerated on any level, and employees should feel safe to come forward if anything goes a little bit sideways. Yet, based on the track record of the Fox Corporation, that qualification seems to be missing. I was going to say lacking, but it's missing. Okay? Let's talk about a few things that have happened over the years. And again, some of the stuff you've heard, I'm just listing it so you can see how much this is actually going on, all right? Let's go back to 2016, okay, with Roger Ailes, right, when he was the CEO of the Fox News Network. Former Fox News anchor Gretchen Coulson accused Ailes, who was then the CEO, of sexual harassment. She claimed that he retaliated against her once she rejected his advances and also when she went to HR. Megyn Kelly's another voice that was in the building at that time. Other employees as well, they corroborated her claims, all right? They said, no, this is exactly what's going on, describing the workplace rife with misconduct, stating that basically people are acting reckless, people are being insensitive, people are being not respectful to what's being, they're not being HR compliant, if I want to use a corporate term, or a pseudo-corporate term. And within that, as these claims were being made, the behavior continued. That's what made it so. All right. So, what was the outcome after all the crap hit the fan? Well, Roger Ailes had to resign, and Gretchen Carlson, settled and got $20 million out of it. All right. So, Luigi, I want you to bookmark the numbers of how much these lawsuits are selling for, which is one of the onuses why I'm here having this conversation. Right. So the CEO had the CEO of the Fox Network news network or news arm had to quote resign and they had to call for $20 million. Right. Then the name that you all know is Bill O'Reilly. Now here's what's interesting. This was initially quote started in 2004 and went on through 2017. Okay, more than a decade of misconduct. Multiple women have accused O'Reilly of harassment. Fox News paid approximately, watch the number, Luigi, $45 million in settlements to silence these claims. So up to $65 million that's out the pocket of the company just to keep people quiet or to pay people off or to make things go away or to say we are sorry. All right? And despite the payouts that was happening during this timeline, like I said, from 2004 to 2017, O'Reilly's contract was renewed in 2017. Only after the public outrage of, why are you still paying this guy? So basically you're going to pay out the settlements and still pay him? The ratings are that important to you? So that became a public outrage where basically people were basically storming the Capitol, if you will, and said, if he stays, then it's going to be a bigger issue. So they ended up having to terminate him, and they had to terminate. He could not resign, if that makes any sense, because of all of the different settlements and cases that were against Fox and Bill O'Reilly. So he was terminated. Of course, he's still doing his thing, but no longer at Fox. And in 2020, Ed Henry, Fox anchor, was accused of rape by Jennifer Eckhart and harassment by Kathy Areu. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Areu, Areu. Okay. Other Fox figures like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson were also named in related misconduct allegations. Now, these things popped up in 2020. They're still in litigation, working out terms, and lawsuits are ongoing. But Ed Henry was fired. But here's my point. If the Fox News president was fired, walked away in 2016, and a dozen years of misbehavior was happening with, quote, Bill O'Reilly, how are we even getting to 2020 and even have this situation again? How are we here? How are we here? And we're still having these conversations. I'm not sure why we're doing this. Okay? Now, that's the Fox News arm. Now, let's go into Fox Sports. Okay? 2017. All right? Jamie Horowitz, former president of Fox Sports, faced allegations of sexual harassment. He was terminated. The settlements and the follow-ups were kind of quiet. Why? Because of what was happening with Roger Ailes a year earlier. A year later, the Fox head is now being accused of sexual harassment. Again, it speaks to a cultural environment. All right? And now we have this 2025 lawsuit that just happened with, and I hope I'm saying her name correctly. I like to get these names right. Nushin Faraji, okay, hairstylist, okay, accused Skip Bayless of offering her $1.5 million to sleep with her, and executive Charlie Dixon of harassment, claiming he touched her bottom. She went to Joy Taylor and said, hey, Charlie Dixon touched my bottom. And accordingly, allegedly, Joy Taylor said, get over it. So this case is ongoing. And, I'll let y'all do what y'all do on social media and look at all the other sites that want to get into the salaciousness of the scenario. But that's happening as well, too. So I just gave you 5 scenarios that I was able to pull away on the qualitative side of this actually happened. This is not me guessing. This is actually what happened. And $65 million to date. Probably more because there's some unsettled and some, closed packages of information as far as what has been settled is also there, too. So here's the key takeaway. These scandals highlight a systematic problem across the divisions. If the Fox Corporation were truly qualified to create a safe workplace, these patterns wouldn't even come close to persist. And that is what's qualified. As we segue to the V, the V, the V, the V, which is, I repeat, which is, a company is verified when it takes concrete steps to ensure that its culture aligns with its values and morals. Fox has made promises of reform, especially after the Roger Ailes scandal in 2016, but what has actually changed based upon what I listed previously, right? So here is what Fox's pattern of behavior is, not the perception. Here's what it is, okay? They're protecting their star talent, okay? The high-profile employees like Bill O'Reilly and Skip Bayless were shielded for years. Let's say more Bill O'Reilly was shielded for years. Skip Bayless remains to be seen because that's still alleged, okay? And when the allegations mounted on Bill O'Reilly, they still protected this talent, the talent, okay? Which sends a clear message. Profits come before people. Give that 2 seconds to breathe, okay? What's also a pattern of behavior is that settlements over reform. Since 2016, the Fox Corporation has paid hundreds of millions in settlements. But these payouts haven't translated into an integral change in the environment. What does that basically mean? Settlements are reactive, not proactive. What's really going on in HR? There should be a deep dive into that as well, too. All right. And also, we got inconsistent oversight. Fox claims to have introduced better HR policies and training, yet the frequency of the lawsuits and the latest allegations still persist, or are still happening. So, protecting star talent, settlements over reform, and inconsistent oversight. That is the pattern at the Fox Corporation. Whether it's news, sports, probably from the top down, which is where we're going in a little bit next. All right. There's also the internal culture you got to take a look at. Okay, Megyn Kelly, remember she was there with what's my girl's name again? Let me go back here a little bit. With Gretchen Carlson. She was there with Gretchen Carlson, you know, holding her down. She described Fox under Ailes as a playground for misconduct. Former employees report the culture has to significantly improve with HR seen as a mechanism for protecting the company, not its employees. So, which brings up the ultimate question, okay? Is Fox truly verified in its commitment to reform? And why do these scandals keep surfacing? Again, I'm being a little bit redundant, but the redundancy is not to be redundant. The redundancy is to bring forth how significant this is and how crazy this comes across, and that's nothing significant being done. That's why I'm not talking about the scandals, I'm talking about the culture, okay? And now, let's get into what's certified. And the C, this is about accountability. Not in words, but in actions. All right, let's see what we got here. Rupert Murdoch has been the face of the Fox Corporation since the beginning and for decades. And while he may not be directly involved in these scandals, his leadership sets the tone. Critics argue that his hands-off approach has allowed a culture of impunity to thrive. Impunity is a SAT word. And here's a couple reasons why. For him, the price of the settlements seems to be the cost of doing business, rather than not letting that environment fester in any way, shape, or form. But this approach fails to address the root cause of the workplace misconduct, maybe because he is enabling the root cause. I'll let that breathe for a second. He's also delegating responsibility rather than being hands-on and dealing with it. So he often relies on strong-willed executives, per se, to manage the day-to-day operations. And when those executives abuse their power, as in the case of Roger Ailes, who holds them accountable? It's almost like they run roughshod until there's no choice left but to let them go. So within that, that's kind of how that plays out. So with this culture of impunity, Fox's repeated failures to act decisively suggest a systematic problem. By prioritizing profits and protecting star talent, the company has created an environment where misconduct isn't just tolerated, it's enabled, damn near encouraged. Let's just throw the same money at it and it'll go away. But keep on doing what you're doing, right? Just throw some money at it. Just throw some money at it. That's all. Okay, just throw some money at it. Okay? Here's a key fact. That's sidebar, but tangential into how Fox operates. In 2023, New York City pension funds filed a shareholders lawsuit, they're one of the backers, accusing Murdoch and other Fox leaders of breaching their fiduciary duty by allowing a culture of misconduct to persist. This is one of those rare occasions where accountability may have to be dealt with, but it's being dealt with from the outside because one of the major shareholders that finance Fox came back and said, we're putting money into this, but Mr. Murdoch, you're allowing this environment to continue to persist without making any changes, and that's a problem. We'll see if that makes any sense. Okay? So what does this all mean at the end of the day? For me, I'm just putting this out there so you guys can see what the environment is actually doing and how that pertains and what's necessary, what needs to be seen, what needs to be heard. That's what that main cause is, okay? With that being the case. So why should we care? Okay? Because I'm speaking about one corporation, okay? Pay attention because I'm going to come back and there's going to be more corporations. There's going to be more environments and more mishandling of these circumstances and more bad behavior and more HR turning away rather towards the solution to the situation, okay? Because accountability isn't about firing a few bad apples or paying off lawsuits, okay? It's about creating a culture where the employees on whatever level, feel safe, respected, and valued. For Rupert Murdoch and the Fox Corporation, what does this mean? This means you need to invest, and I'm talking about some solutions here now. And they've had these conversations because they make way much more than I'll ever make. But it's not about them having the conversations, it's about their actions matching their values and their morals. So I'm just repeating it so it's out there and it's being said out loud. Okay? They need to invest in structural reform. And that needs to be independent oversight. Like a third party needs to come in and kind of babysit and see what's going on there. Almost like let them be the cameras in the room. Okay? So that they can be observed without them thinking they are the judge, jury, and they're the solver of the issues. Let somebody else come in and say, that's not how this is done. Y'all doing this incorrectly. This is what's happening. Yeah. These are stronger, stiffer HR policies. We do that handbook a little bit more, a little bit better. And mandatory continuous training programs that must be implemented. If you work in any major corporation of significance, you have to do sexual harassment every year. Every year. It's non-negotiable. Every year. This is a company probably needs to do it every 6 months. Okay. And make sure it's being implemented and signed off on so people are very much paying attention to it. So that, you invest in some structural reform. Next, it needs to be a level of transparency. That's why I like that third party coming in to be involved in the structural reform. Because settlement should not be used to silence victims. Fox must consistently and publicly demonstrate its commitment to reform. And that way, the revealing of what is and what isn't happening will be much more respected rather than just saying we pay this person off and it kind of goes away, which is what the corporation hopes. And then there is leadership accountability. And that's right at the doorstep and at the feet of Rupert Murdoch. Rupert, Mr. Murdoch, sir, however you want to be called, you must take core responsibility for the culture because you've allowed it to flourish. And you're using money to make it go away, to make it seem like it's just, cost the business, not what this is done here, okay? You can't be a hands-off leader anymore. And you can no longer make excuses because you're not there, because you have other, qualified executives in the room to kind of deal with this. No, you have to be in front of this moving forward, okay? But here's a unique problem because, like I said, for the past, I don't know how long I've been speaking, I've given you all the reasons why he has not made this a priority. I don't know if this is a priority for him. And that needs to be managed and dealt with. Okay. If this Fox Corporation doesn't confront the systemic issues, its legacy will not be defined, not by its influence, but as it stands today by its failures. And the question will remain, is this the course of doing business or the failure of leadership? Again, as it stands today, the latter is the case. Okay. I'm here just to kind of keep you informed, keep you engaged, and always question the industry shaping our world. Okay. Again, this spring, there'll be a live in studio podcast, issue number 4080. We're working on guests. I want the audience to be kind of engaged, especially the guys who've been loyal to us thus far. We'll take the lessons learned from the September exercise or the non-exercise didn't happen. We'll kind of take it from there. And then we'll segue into some other things, man. I hope that you are in this day and age, in this change of leadership, and things that are happening around the world that are changing us right in front of us, okay, whether it be natural disasters, whether it be changes in leadership, whether it be, crime being committed. We had another, mass shootings. We had a situation where a person ran into a whole audience during New Year's Eve in New Orleans. And 10 people, I'm not sure, I think a dozen plus people perished in that circumstance and a dozen more were injured. We're going to get into some survival stuff here in a minute because this situational awareness of kind of what's happening around the world and us being aware and what to do and what not to do is becoming a much, much more important moving forward. I don't know if you noticed, like Luigi, in Dallas and Texas, they go through like 1 week, and I think it's this past week, where they have literally freezing temperatures all week. And they're not prepared for it because they're in Texas. So it'll go for them, when you're in the Northeast, 20 degrees is bearable, dealable, you know what to do, you've dealt with it. But for them, it's a life changer because literally the way they do like construction down there, like the pipes are frozen. Okay, water cannot flow. The grid is frozen because it's so cold. So electrical goes out, and they go through this once a week every year, which is something that never happened before. Quote global warming, and it seems that every year, not that they're not prepared for it, but it becomes more and more a reality of what they have to deal with, and that's something else like. That's similar to like how the natural disasters like wildfires are. Like we know they happen and they're gonna happen every year, but for some reason, the way this being managed or is being handled, or just the example of how significant it is, it becomes a bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger issue, right? And it's every year. Now, wasn't it last year that not for the first time, but the first one on a major scale, Hawaii had wildfires? That was last year. Every year, LA has wildfires, but that's par for the course. Like, quote, it snows in the Northeast. But the fact that these, I won't call it phenomenon, but these circumstances are becoming more and more significant in a bigger way speaks more to like how we need to be better prepared for certain circumstances. And it's not, I'm not trying to turn people into, get a bunker underneath your house or type of stuff like that. But there's just stuff you should have in your home. There's stuff you should have right next to the front door. You should be able to evacuate your premises if something's coming within 15 to 30 minutes and notice you have what you need, especially if you have children, if you have babies, if you have animals, if you have close by relatives that are older, right? You should kind of know what to do within those circumstances, stuff like that. So we're going to get into that a little bit, but we'll ease you into it so you're aware of how to manage and deal with that. Okay. Catch the socials. Catch the socials. Okay. Goju Nation, you know where we are. We're on X, we're on Threads, we're on Facebook, we're on IG, and of course, YouTube. And today we're on Facebook Live as well. Okay. One word, Gotham Jungle, all platforms. All right. Like, follow, share, subscribe, comment to be an official member of Goju Nation. I'm looking forward to your comments so we can get right and get better. All right. Oh boy, that flew right by. All right. I want to thank social media because they helped me put this podcast topic together. This is my sarcastic thank yous. For those that know, they know. I want to thank Naima Small. I want to thank the unsub. I want to thank all my friends who are no longer entangled. I got a lot of friends that Not so long ago, they were all together and all happy and all married, and like all of them have separated. Like all of them. Like I'm down. I think I'm down to like two that are still together. So I'm just happy they're not killing each other. And of course, the grand architect of the universe. And always remember, light and darkness cannot coexist at the same time. So if you choose to be one, choose to be the light. Thank you, Goju Nation.